Did you know that a rock dove and a feral pigeon are actually the same bird? You never know it though. After all, one sounds like sweet melancholia, the other sounds vicious and dirty. They're weird little things, aren't they? Words. Like, there's so many ways of saying one thing and no ways of saying other things, and the one thing can mean so many other things if you say the one thing other ways, but some things you can't say some ways, and some things you can't say other ways, and some things you have to say other ways than you mean if you want to say them at all. For instance, have you ever wondered how important your job has to be before you get to call your coworkers colleagues? Or how important you have to be before you can be assassinated instead of like regular murdered? Or how long you'd have to be dead before somebody could dig up your corpse and call themselves an archaeologist instead of like regular grave robber? Or have you ever noticed that how are you is never really a question, but I love you is when you say it first? Or how we're taught that passive voice weakens agency of language, so avoid it where you can, unless of course when reporting on another woman who was assaulted by a man. And have you ever noticed that it's only socially acceptable to mention mental illness when you use the past tense? Like, if each morning makes you grave robber of your own bed, if you're asking afternoons to assassinate your unimportant existence, and if, for instance, you decide to confide this one evening to coworkers or colleagues or friends, the sentiment, "I wish I was fucking dead," you can go ahead, but only if you laugh after, and the word suicide is never actually said. Shout all you want what you've suffered, but do your suffering in private. Now is where rock doves become feral pigeons. So what is it about time that domesticates the past? How does distance dull the talons of trauma? Is it just masochistic need to maintain that our pain is serving a purpose? That we too can grind our shattered edges to dust between rocks and hard places, that from this violent softness forged in parallel space, we too can be born from the bottom smoother than sea glass, that one day we can all nestle snugly in the palm of a hand and make believe we've never been broken. And this is all to say, friend, I've seen the shards that did not fit, the ones you squirreled in your cheeks. It doesn't hurt much. I know, only when you smile. I know because I've done this too, and I know how to spot another warrior by the blood between our teeth, and there's a slim chance, or a fat chance, which for some reason mean the same fucking thing, that anyone else will notice how you've maimed your mouth just to match their tongue, and this is all to say, friend. They call it speaking pigeon, trying to communicate in a language that isn't your native one, but you'll always be a dove to me. And this is all to say, friend, that when I asked how you are, I really did mean it as a question.